Christmas time, we all love enjoying the cheerful music, awesome movies, and yummy holiday food. But we also love giving and getting presents. On the first Christmas, a group of wise men brought gifts to baby Jesus to celebrate his birth. We're going to talk about the gifts baby Jesus received in just a minute, but first, let's talk about who these wise men really were and what we might have gotten wrong about them. We find the story of the wise men, or magi, or kings, in the second chapter of the book of Matthew. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem, in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. Since there are so few verses about the Magi, there are a lot of things we don't know about the wise men. We don't know how many of them visited Jesus, but there were probably more than 3. We don't really know their names, how old they were, or exactly where they came from. We don't even know how they learned about the star that guided them to Jesus. We do know they were scholars. Based on their studies and readings, they understood that a king was going to be born and that he would change everything. We know that they somehow knew how to find Jesus, and they followed a star and traveled thousands of miles just to see and worship him. We know they brought gifts with them, really expensive gifts. These men were important, wealthy, and intelligent, but when they learned this new king had been born, they knew they had to go and worship him. Unlike King Herod, who immediately feared and hated Jesus, the wise men responded to this new king with worship. Continuing our story from Matthew 2, it says, "On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route." When the wise men finally found Jesus, they honored him by giving him gifts that meant something significant. Gold is an extremely valuable, precious metal. This gift represented power and royalty. It wasn't a gift you just give to anyone. Gold was definitely a gift for a king. Frankincense is a resin, kind of like a tree sap, taken from boswellia trees. It was often used to make perfumes, and it has medicinal uses. But even more importantly, this was often seen as a gift you would give to a deity. In other words, frankincense was a gift for a god, the only god in Jesus' case. And finally, myrrh, like frankincense, is a resin taken from a different plant. It was commonly used in perfumes, but this gift was significant because it was often used to prepare a body for burial. It's a strange gift for a baby because myrrh was a gift that symbolized death. These weren't very practical baby gifts, but what they lacked in cuteness, they more than made up for in purpose. Through their gifts, the wise men were saying, "You are our king, you are our God, and we know you'll one day die to save us." These gifts expressed the wise men's trust in who Jesus was. They were an act of worship. They honored him, gave him their best, and communicated that he was worthy of their best, worthy of the long, exhausting journey it took to find him, worthy of everything they could give him and more. By giving Jesus gifts that were costly and meaningful, the wise men set an important example for us. But you don't have to be rich, influential, or important in order to give Jesus a gift worth giving. As long as we have breath, we can give Jesus our worship. Worship is what happens anytime we give honor to Jesus with our words or actions. It's about thanking him for what he has done and praising him for who he is. On the first Christmas, the wise men gave their worship. This Christmas, I encourage you to think about how you, with your words and actions, can do the same. Bye, friends.